question is related to. I was reading uh, Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit. In the introduction part, one para is there. Srila Prabhupada's success in spreading Krishna consciousness was due to his being directly empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. चैतन्य चरिणामृत states कली करे कलेरा धर्मा कृष्णा नामा संकीर्तना कृष्णा शक्ति वीना नाहे तरा pravartana. The fundamental religious system in the age of Kali is the chanting of holy name of Krishna. Unless empowered by Krishna, one cannot propagate the Sankirtan movement. Uh, my question is, Mataji, kindly explain me these lines. I am not able to understand. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I can give you an example to help you understand that. Um, Something related to it to understand. Now we see that in the Bhagavatam, it is this thing is mentioned. So now we are seeing on the battlefield when Krishna was with Arjuna. Arjuna could kill. You know, he became victorious. The Pandavas they became victorious. Arjuna could kill so many great warriors very easily when he was with Krishna. But when Krishna wrapped up his pastimes on the earthly planet, and it so happened, it's mentioned in the Bhagavatam that when Arjuna was taking his queens with him for because Krishna was went back, so the queens were still there. So Arjuna wanted to take care of them, take them to their uh, kingdom or something, and take care of them or give them protection. But when he was taking them with him, suddenly some very basic, I think, uh, kind of dacoits or some people appeared in the scene, and Arjuna was defeated by them. So the same Arjuna who killed so many warriors, great warriors, Maharathis and so on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was defeated by some simple general, common dacoits. So he mentions it in the Bhagavatam that when Krishna was with me, I was able to defeat so many warriors. But without Krishna, see, this is, I don't have any power actually. So we must understand that even when we are, of course, whatever we are doing, it's all coming by the mercy of the Lord. Like even we are breathing or we are alive, so it's by the mercy of the grace of the Lord. But specifically, to preach Krishna consciousness, one has to be empowered by the Lord Himself. It's not easy. Now I may say, I may ask you that, okay, you have to become serious about Krishna consciousness, this but it may not be so effective. But if a pure devotee who is empowered by the Lord tells, okay, now from now on we have to chant 16 rounds every day and you have to follow like this, when a pure devotee says, so it becomes more effective, and practically we have this experience. At least I know many such people who just at the first visit will be I mean, Gurudeva, Gurumata would ask them to, you have to chant 16 rounds. If the person is sincere somewhat, then he immediately takes it up, because they are empowered. Because without empowerment, we cannot preach. Even Srila Prabhupada, uh, when he was on board to America, I think he wrote he wrote some prayers, isn't it, where he mentions that. you have brought me here. I don't know what I can do here, but something, not exact words. I don't know what I can do here when everybody is in materialistic thing. But you have brought me here. You have some purpose. So you make me dance or something, or maybe I'm mixing two things, two different things. But the point is that when we are fully surrendered to the Lord, and give or want ourselves to become instruments in His hands, then Krishna, he he uses us in his for his purpose. When we are free from all our material sense gratificatory tendencies and all, we just want to serve the Lord. So then we become rightly an instrument in the hands of the Lord. He By his empowerment, even an ordinary person also can do great wonders. Again, there is a verse. uh, I'm very bad in remembering the verses. There's a verse which mentions that even a lame man can cross over the mountains. Even a dumb, even a something can become a great orator and something by the mercy of the. I think at one place it is mentioned by the mercy of Guru, and similar verse somewhere it is mentioned by the mercy of the Lord. So, of course, we understand that the mercy of the Lord, or that empowerment of the Lord, comes when we are fully surrendered to His pure devotee, and that is the spiritual master. In the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, also, if we see, Srila Prabhupada gives all credit to his spiritual master. If I'm able to do something, he gives that full credit to his spiritual master, and that surrender is what brings empowerment through the whole disciplic succession. I mean, um, if you see the disciplic succession, Krishna, Brahmaji, Narad Muni, like that. So when a disciple is surrendered to his spiritual master, that means he is properly connected to that whole disciplic succession, and therefore that empowerment comes from Krishna. That and such a Vaishnava can actually preach the glories of the Lord far and wide. Did that help to some extent, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, thank you so much. And Mataji, one term was mentioned in the book, one of the para was sincere neophyte. What does it mean? Sincere and neophyte, both with like adjective was given in front of neophyte. So can we explain me the word sincere neophyte? What category of devotee is that? Hare Krishna.
Neophyte is like us, we are just beginners. There are three kinds of devotees, or devotees can be classified into three sections: Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari. We had discussed this in Nectar of Instruction. Kanishtadhikari is a beginner. He may be going to the temple just like we are, we may be worshipping, but we don't know how to properly respect the devotees, how to, we're not very much conversant with the Vedic scriptures, we don't know the conclusion of the scriptures that well. We're just engaged in temple worship or something like that. That is the Kanishta. Then comes the Madhyama, who has full understanding of who is fully determined, in worshipping the Lord and so on. And comes the Uttamadhikari, who is also very conversant in Vedic scriptures, and he can convert anyone, or convert in the sense he can make anyone a devotee or Vaishnava, like that. So there are different levels. So we are in the beginning state. That's what neophyte means. Sincere neophyte means, now sincerely, really, I know that I have so much of anarthas, I have so much of lust, greed, anger, madness, illusion, but I sincerely want to become a devotee. So that sincerity is there. That is how we come in contact with a bona fide spiritual master or devotees or Sri Prabhupada's books, because the super soul, he's seeing that sincerity, and therefore he makes some arrangement, or he manifests externally in the form of spiritual master. So now somebody, okay, I have to chant my rounds. Okay, today I was not able to complete. It's okay. Rest of rounds I will do tomorrow. It's okay, no problem. Anyways, I'm a devotee, so if today I didn't complete, I'll do my rounds tomorrow. Now this is one kind of a devotee, and other is like, oh, today I was not able to, and it is so late, let me complete my rounds. So even if there's some problem or something, he's not able to, but he's sincere that he wants to complete and he works upon it. And the first devotee which we saw was, okay, he was taking it very casual, okay, not I'm not able to complete today, no problem, I'll complete tomorrow. So this becomes casual, he's not sincere. So from that we can try to understand that.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the explanation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you for your nice questions, Mataji. Okay, Anisha Mataji, it is mentioned soul is unborn. My question is, were we not manifested by the Lord at some point in time? We were manifested, just like it is said in the spiritual world. It's there is no dimension like time. There's no dimension. Now in the material world there is this time dimension, past, present, future, but in the spiritual world there is no such time dimension. So that's why it said that we are eternally being manifested, or sorry, we are all eternally being kind of emanated from the Lord. So there is no specific time. It is said that Gurudev gives one example that, let's say, when we to make us understand how the time factor is not there, or in the material, in the spiritual world, the difference between the time factor and the material and spiritual world. So let's say that you were in the spiritual world, and you were Krishna is taking his lunch, and there are so many his friends and everybody, and you are also sitting one among. And when Krishna is about to take a rasgulla or some sweet into his mouth, you are thinking that, oh, why Krishna has to take it first? I want to taste it first. And that moment we fell into this material world, and we are struggling so many lifetimes. Somehow we came in contact with devotees, with a spiritual master, with Prabhupada, then we took initiation, then started practicing, continued practicing seriously. At one point of time, when you go back to the spiritual world, you are in the same place. Krishna is about to take his sweet into his mouth, and all these things that happened in the material world was like a fraction, like a fraction daydreaming for you, and you are like, oh, what is this thing? You just get it off, and you are again into the pastimes of the Lord, that, oh, Krishna is so nicely taking his lunch, like that. So we can see this whole time which we have spent, which is like eternally we are caught up in this material world. This is like just a nanosecond, or even less than a nanosecond, when it comes to this in the spiritual world. So we can understand that this difference between the time, or we can say there's no time dimension in one sense in the spiritual world. And born is in the sense that one living entity gets a particular kind of a body, that is birth. But for the spiritual, for the soul, there are emanations, like even when at the time of destruction, all the living entities, they go into the transcendental body of Lord Mahavishnu. So they are existing in dormant state, and when the creation happens, they are all coming out in their they're in the exhalation of the Lord. They are all coming out and taking their different positions as per their previous desires, or so on. So here we cannot say that the living entities are born. They are existing. They were in a kind of a dormant state, just like if you have a seed, you have planted a seed in the soil, so the tree is in due course of time, the tree is going to manifest. The tree is existing in that seed, so in due course of time it becomes manifest. So in that sense also we can try to understand this. So birth is specifically for